Good evening, everyone. I can say that tonight we have something in common. And the thing is, if you think about the future, I'm pretty sure that we all want to live in a more sustainable world. Still, we all contribute to the global warming because probably to come here you use your car or public transport or sometimes you fly to vacation simply because you use energy. We are contributing to the global warming. In Europe, more than 40% of the green gas emission is due to the way we use energy in buildings we all live and work in. And this is really not easy to change the way we consume energy, especially when the only piece of information about our consumption is this little paper that we receive every month in our mailbox. It's actually like doing a diet using the supermarket bill. Doesn't make sense, right? What you do when you do a diet, you weight yourself, you see the evolution of your weight, and based on this information, you take action to go to the right direction. And that's what we do at Opinum. We created Opicents to give sense to the consumption of buildings. And this is used to see where to act to spend less energy and money and less CO2, obviously. And when you launch a business, you need to think about the timing. And timing is pretty good for us. It's actually what we think, and we hope so. And what gave us this feeling is these three factors. The first one is the environment. We are all clear about that. But there is also the energy price that is rising really high. And there is also the European government that push every building and every companies to make efforts in terms of energy efficiency. And that's why we are doing it right now. On the market, there is two types of actors. The first one, there are big companies building hardware solutions to collect information about the consumption in the buildings. And on the other side, you have the energy efficiency professionals that gives advice to the clients to help him decrease his energy consumption. And Opicents is the platform in between the two. We gather all the information coming from this hardware. We provide advanced analytics to the energy efficiency experts, and we show the results to the clients and building owners. And we are already in business. The solution is there. We are the revenue is based on the license fee, a yearly license fee that the customer pay based on the number of data that we collect. And the contract duration is in between 3 and 8 years. For example, with the city of Louvain-la-Neuve, the public buildings, there are more than 100 public buildings under supervision with Opicents, and the contract duration is 8 years. We have also other cities like the city of Erve, and we also have clients like Microsoft, where they use our tool to monitor the EBC buildings here in Brussels. And with many others, this is just a snapshot. And behind every project, you have always people building the product, and we are really proud of the team that is behind this project. And it's obviously me, but I'm not the only one. I'm the CEO and previously working at McKinsey & Company as a data visualization expert. We have Jonathan Hubot managing the research at Opinum and has 12 years of experience in the research project. We have Mark Tuskin managing the operation, previously working at Toyota. We have Nicolas Deneuve managing the marketing and owned an MBA at the IMD Business School in Switzerland. And we have Alexis Isaac here in the room, by the way, who has proven success in many companies and has already sold some companies to big actors in the market. And if you decide to invest in Opinum tonight, like many others actually, you will do it alongside professionals. And we have confirmed for now the Sambra Vest, the SREW Environment, and Inventure, which is actually the host of the day. And we have also many others like BNP Paribas supporting us in the credit. In total, we're raising more than 1.1 million euro in 2 phases. The first phase is actually ending on October 13th. And the second phase will be for June next year. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Loïc. Thank you, Loïc. Nice presentation. Do you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have questions for Loïc about his business model? I can see that Beatrice is ready to shoot. Please, Beatrice.
I just had one question. How long are you in business now?
We started this project 2.5 years ago with actually our first customers. It was more in the PV industry. We were monitoring more production of energy for the businesses. And then we continue to build the product.
And you don't have to name them, but how many customers do you have? B2B.
It's B2B. Actually, we have more than 1,000 buildings under supervision, and this represents 15 customers because we are targeting people with a lot of buildings, actually.
Okay.
And the cities is a good example, actually.
Xavier, I can see you're ready to shoot a question.
Could you elaborate on your pricing power? Who are your competitors? Are they small? Or are you in competition with big distributor, for example?
Yeah, actually we are in a mindset that we see a lot of big companies that try to enter this market, and instead of competing, we are partnership them. We have, for example, EDF Luminous that launched a product to monitor the B2B buildings, and they use our solution on the back. We do actually the same with other big companies in the energy efficiency world, and that's helped us actually to enter the markets. And instead of competing with them, we try to find a partnership to grow faster.
Why? Because they cannot provide the same service?
Actually, the product, when you have a big companies like EDF, you have two choices. Either you enter the market right now because, like I said, it's the right time, and you use an existing product that is already built and it's already working, or either you create your own product and you are 5 years later. Then I think that's the point. It's a question of timing. It was quite hard to remain on the market until now, and now we see that it's the right time. Most of our clients are coming right now.
Thank you.
Etienne, do you have a question for Loïc?
Yeah, I'm interested by knowing more about your intellectual property rights.
That's a good question. Like I mentioned, in the team we have Jonathan that will manage the research area, and we have a few research projects funded by the federal government in the Walloon region, and also some coming from Europe. And we are we are building this IP. For now, the tool that we have built is not really predictable, it's a software. And now we are working on algorithms to analyze data, and this is something that we are currently looking to protect under an IP.
And is it possible also for the customer then to manage? So this is a snapshot, and it gives feedback on the consumption. But can the customer then also, manage his consumption of the various data?
Yeah. For example, for the city of Louvain-la-Neuve, they have obviously schools under management, and an issue in the school is that obviously the schedule of the school and the heating regulation system change every quarter because the courses are taking place at a different time. And we have built the possibility to also interact with the hardware installed on premise, which means that, for example, they don't need to send someone in the building to change the schedule of the heating system. They can do it right in the platform. And we are really, the first step was really to collect the information, to make the intelligence, and then know the software go on the other way by sending instruction to the building to behave correctly and save energy.
And there is no hardware connected within the building that can communicate with the software?
No hardware coming from us. We are actually, what we built actually is a standard protocol that can interact with any hardware. In the slide that I presented here, we are working with Schneider, we are working with Legrand, with ABB, with Siemens, and with also smaller actors on the market to make sure that we are compatible with all of the hardware installed. Why? Because when you are working for people having many buildings, it's impossible to say that they will have the same hardware in the whole building. And that's why we say, okay, we don't want to create a new hardware solution because there is plenty of companies doing that quite good actually. And we want to just make sure that we support this, all this hardware already installed in the buildings.
No further questions? I can see that Xavier or Etienne still have a question.
Yeah, I would like to ask you if self-confidence is a major risk in your case.
But you build self-confidence by having positive feedback. And then obviously when you start a company, you're already proud of what you do, and then you get your first customer to say yes, and it's really good. Then you have your second customer, then you build confidence more and more. Then you have investors, then you build more and more confidence, then you end up here, and yes, you build confidence. And actually to avoid the pitfall of the self-confidence, you need to have a team around you, and that's why I'm not alone. And I have 4 other people looking at me and trying to make sure that we go to the right direction.
We have some members of the team, obviously, in the room. Yeah. I will ask my friend Haroun and Simon if there are questions from the public today coming from our online question system.
Yes. Is OpScience correcting the malfunctions of the primary design of buildings? If not, what is the value added?
Sorry, I didn't really get the first part of the question.
Okay. Is OpScience correcting the malfunctions of the primary design of buildings?
We don't change the design of the building, neither the system already in place. We just make sure that we reuse that. And we get obviously information about how the building is used. And something I forgot to mention is that we are really active in the tertiary sector. We don't take a lot of industry players. We are working on the tertiary sector, and in the tertiary sector, what is really important is the people that use the building, because they influence the way the energy is used. And then more than just the consumption, we also collect information about external factors that influence the building, and we collect also information about how the people use the building and how they consume energy, which is really important to give sense to data.
Any other questions, Haroun?
Yes. What if your idea works and energy suppliers decide to implement such an idea themselves? They would have a huge competitive and operational advantage.
Yeah, actually I have 2 answers for this. The first one is that they are currently working with us, like EDF Luminous, and we are discussing with others. And the second answer is that if you are a building owner and you depend on the energy supplier for your data, then the day you will decide to change the energy supplier, you will lose every data you have. That's why you need to use us instead of the energy supplier.
So that you keep your data. Was this your latest question, Haroun, or do you still have a question?
One last one of Simon. Does OpSense allow to intervene and manage the energy consumption by inserting rules, or is it mainly for visualization?
It's obviously it's for visualization. It's for alerting when there is something that goes wrong. And like I mentioned, we are starting a phase where the system interacts with the building to change parameters to make sure that the energy is correctly used.